Welcome back, everybody. Like they say, all good things do come to an end, and so is the case for the limited series on Disney Plus, WandaVision. We have watched it. We have thoughts. We have a recap for you, and it's all coming up right after the big title. My name is Travis.
And I'm Peel, and this is the Travis and Peel Show.
Jonathan Peel, good evening.
Good evening, my friend.
All right, so we just got finished watching episode 9 of WandaVision. It's over. It's done. I didn't think we were going to make it, but we did.
It's been a long 9 weeks, man. It really has, or 8 weeks.
It has. This is kind of like a nice little, not bittersweet, but it's just like a nice sweet, because we started this channel on episode 1 of WandaVision and everything. So that being said, from Jonathan and myself to those who have joined us on this voyage of entertainment and buffoonery, thank you for being on the ground floor. Yeah, come join us. Come join us more, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. We would love to have you connected with more videos that are coming up. We are slowly learning what this channel is going to become. We're trying any and everything that we have thoughts of. We have more thoughts.
And we love the feedback. Anything you got to say, please leave comments. You know, the Facebook group here on YouTube, we definitely want to hear what you have to say, and, you know, kind of play to that. We want to make sure we're at least somewhat entertaining you in any way possible. So just, let us know.
Yeah, and like I said, since this started on WandaVision and now WandaVision's ending, it just felt right to say right now, thank you.
Finishing WandaVision right now. Episode 9, the season finale. Man, this was a doozy. Longest running one. You know, it's like 50 minutes. We do get a mid and an end credit. Little teasers there at the end. Man, it was a remarkable episode. They really brought it in. I'm going to say it was probably actually my least favorite, though.
Least favorite episode?
I got to say it.
Least favorite episode? Wow.
Okay. Because it was the last one.
Oh. You promised me you wouldn't cry.
Yeah.
I need you to man up. I need you to pick it up, Peel. Let's go. This isn't a channel for sissies. This is a channell for
episode 9, though. It was fantastic.
Yeah, so overall, spoiler free,
so
spoiler free thoughts. What do you like? Give me a little taste about what you think that what about it that missed the mark for you?
Oh, nothing really missed the mark for me.
You said it was your
obviously
favorite.
all the hype. No, right. Yeah, because it was the last episode. That was literally just a joke.
Okay.
I actually loved the episode. It was great. I'm not going to say it was necessarily my favorite one. Obviously, a lot of myths and theories get busted in this. All the hype that's been built up about a lot of different things, and everybody taking things out of context from what, you know, some of the actors and writers and directors have said. So, you know, we didn't get some of those things, but it was still, you know, a great conclusion to this 9-episode journey, and it was probably one of the most badass origin stories for the most part.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty radical. Anything having to do with the Scarlet Witch, in and of itself, or the mythos surrounding the Scarlet Witch, I thought was a pretty big home run. A couple of gripes here and there. I'm kind of with you on the subverting of fans' expectations. This show really molded itself on it being a mystery with a ton of interesting answers and possibilities. And the internet really embraced a lot of these possible theories.
Yeah, they went deep.
Really, really, really went deep. And at the end of the day, this episode showed that, hey, look, guys, look, we appreciate all your thoughts and theories on this show, but honestly, this show is very surface level. It does not get as deep in terms of how windy it could get within the mythos, and how much it can expand the mythos of the MCU with adding different characters and stuff like that. So it really kind of faked people out. They're playing with fire a little bit when you mess with the expectations of your fans, because when you set a show up with all of these wild expectations, and then you kind of slap them with reality, and nothing really comes of it. A lot of characters looking like they're a bigger piece of the puzzle, and there's so much mystery surrounding them, and then suddenly they're just like, yep, they're just a person. And it's like, they did that with like 4 different fucking characters, and it's like, how many times are you going to do that before you start actually ticking people off? I can list, I need more than one hand to actually list out all of the major character theories that are out there that ended up being absolutely nothing. So I can kind of see... I can kind of see the gripes of some of the internet folks out there.
But that is our own fault as fans for buying into it and then reading a snippet of something somewhere. I'm going to say right here, you loved the episode, right?
I did like
enjoyed it.
I did like the episode a lot. I thought it wrapped everything up on an emotional level. On an emotional level, I think it ended the way it should have ended, especially for characters like Wanda. I think it's going to lead into multiple paths of what we could see happen to her, whether or not some stuff comes to fruition from Spider-Man or from Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange. I think it really sets a really solid pace for Phase 4 of the MCU. I'm so happy that we're starting Phase 4 with WandaVision versus them starting it with Scarlet Witch. I don't think that would have made much sense for Phase 4 to start that way. So it actually, I think in creatively, I think it's a godsend that Scarlet Witch is coming out a little bit later. So, but that's my spoiler-free thoughts. I think it is time for us to really dig in on the nitty-gritty, what happened in this show. Are you ready, my friend?
I am ready. And this was, huge. Like picking up from last week, obviously being dropped off with
the week before, actually, because last week was a little bit I guess it is picking up from last week from the end.
Vision, yeah,
that's right. So yeah, we did get all that. So yeah, Wanda and Agatha are facing off in the street. Agatha has the kid strung up by the neck, and it is clear that Agatha wants to incite a battle. She is interested in absorbing this chaos magic, and she gets what she wants because Wanda goes after her.
She gets up getting it deep.
Yeah, she starts throwing everything that she can at Agatha, including her car, which gave us a nice little homage to the Wizard of Oz, which I thought was nice.
Yeah, the boot sitting there underneath the car. I thought that was definitely a good little nod there.
Yeah, so a kick-ass little way to start the episode with a nice witch-on-witch fight. I thought that was really cool, but Agatha clearly being able to immediately absorb the chaos magic. It would seem on paper that would be dangerous for her, but apparently she can just do it. That's her thing. She absorbs She absorbs her sisters.
Yeah, that is her thing.
And her mom, like she's doing the same thing with. And you nailed last week, man. You nailed it with the theory on what the Yo Magic commercial meant, and it was clear. Like throughout the entire episode, the Yo Magic thing was happening to Wanda as she was being sucked in. So
and going into this, I'm going to nail another thing that I predicted.
Okay. Well, that is gravitas, if I've ever heard it. So you let me know what that is. We shift over to Hayward. He is watching the status of the Vision fight because Vision and a white Vision, spectral Vision, actually comes up to Wanda and puts his hand on her face, and he is looking like he's going to give her a sweet little hello before he starts to suddenly crush her face.
Well, the thing, too, about this is when she first sees him and walks up to him, she's like, Vision. And the way that he says Wanda, because one thing you've had in this is Wanda. Vision and the way that he speaks to her, that he has that love and just that light in his eyes. Literally, Wanda. He does. You can see that. And he's like, Wanda.
Yeah.
And this dude was just like, Wanda. Mm-hmm. And you saw it was like really great. I don't know, just a little nuance that I saw there. I really liked how they played that out. And then, of course, he goes to like start crushing her freaking skull and pop it like a damn pimple, man. It was... Yeah, it was pretty intense. I really liked it. And of course, the Hex Vision flies in and takes his ass down a little bit. And we have the beginning of the most through the episode Vision's battle.
Yeah, which is this was something that I was assured that we were going to see, and I thought everything that happened with Vision versus Vision really paid off. It was fun action, good use of the Vision powers. But Vision's one of those characters where his powers are so tricky to choreographed because he can phase. He's got laser action.
Oh yeah, we saw a good use of that phase when he reached back, grabbed his foot, and then punched him into the library. That was really awesome. They had a really great fight scene. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was really good. So
even Agatha and Wanda too. I mean, that was a really great scene too. Like they're back and forth, throughout the show doing different things, and we saw Wanda even pull some of her old tricks from like Age of Ultron when she goes inside her head and brings her back to Salem. But the battle between the Visions and between those two, and even the kids getting involved, it was really cool seeing everybody kind of popping in, getting some action, and seeing what this is Marvel. This is the MCU now. We are gone a long way from the I Dream of Jeannie. So here we are now. So it was really exciting. This felt more like kind of like a Marvel movie.
This is the show that was promised, right? We just had to we had to work our way towards it. There was a journey before we can get to that destination. So the destination that Hayward wanted to get to, he is very close to it because he is watching the Vision fight on his computer screens, and then our man Detective Wu is brought up, and Hayward is now just like full on diabolical evil villain. Like my plan is like
he's the bad.
He's like suddenly like. He went from methodical to like downright evil in like 2 days. I thought that was kind of like a weird character break for him. It wasn't enough of a ramp up. There was just no arc. Like I felt like toward the end.
There was really nothing to him in the first place. He was just a director of S.W.O.R.D. That's all it really was. He didn't have much of a backstory except for that he knew Monica and her mom, and he's been there for a while. So, I mean, there wasn't much to it, so I wasn't let down or disappointed by him just turning into a complete asshole, because we got asshole from very early.
But you see, like, he kind of broke down a little bit in one episode, like 3 or 4 episodes ago, like why he is this way and why he wants to do this with Vision, why he wants to recreate Vision and protect the world. Like, he was like, you have no idea what we went through in those 5 years during the snap. Like, you have no clue what the world was like. And I feel like they could have, I've mentioned this before, I'm a villains guy. I love it when they make a villain. You don't have to make him sympathetic. You just need to make him understood. And I feel like they kind of dropped the ball a little bit on Hayward. He can still be like brutally wrong in this situation, but still kind of like, I understand him. Like Thanos was brutal. He was a mass murderer. You understood exactly why he is doing this. I feel like they gave us I feel like they gave us a taste with Hayward, and they kind of dropped the ball at the end with him. He could have been left it, he could have been more interesting. Not terrible. It doesn't break this episode by any stretch. It's really at the end of the day a small gripe.
Well, the favorite part of this scene is Wu, ended up stealing Hayward's phone while he's like laying out his master plan and getting the paperclip. And of course, call back from the like episode 3, I believe, with Flourish. Man, I literally laughed out loud. That just got me so good. Agent Wu has been definitely one of my little favorite parts of this show.
And again, another gripe. That's really the only good stuff we get from him. We get like 2 seconds of Darcy and even Monica later on. Like that whole group, I kind of wish they kept Monica, Wu, and Darcy together. I felt like the real life side of the show was better when they were all together plotting, and once they split up, we kind of lost touch with them. And I feel like if they were like a trinity working for the greater good on the outside the entire show, I feel like that would have been a little bit more interesting. I understand that Monica has to go into the Hex and get her powers and stuff like that. I understand that origin story needs to happen, but the show was better with them together by far.
It was definitely a fun time, but they're going to be in other things. I'm pretty sure that they saw that dynamic and are going to add it to other stuff. There's a lot of talk out there, but there's going to be something that comes from it. Yeah, and we're going to see all these characters again, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be sooner than we think.
And Agatha is now back in the streets with Wanda. They fly to the town square over in Westview. And she unveils that the book from the dungeon was, in fact, the Darkhold. Very mythical book in the Marvel mythos. We
also get revealed that he is just a messenger, the pizza guy. It is definite now. I've given up hope that he had anything else to do.
I touched on it before we hit the spoiler section that he is one of the many characters where they were giving us a lot of and giving us very, very many reasons to think that he is someone special. And he ended up being nobody. When he
said, "Don't shoot, I'm just the messenger," I was like, This son of a bitch. He literally just told me, nope, I'm just the messenger.
So Agatha mentions that Wanda will even be more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. She shows us that the Darkhold has an entire chapter based on the mythos of the Scarlet Witch, and there is a lot to it. And it's a lot of information that Miss Wanda Maximoff will probably want to figure out on her own. But in the
not
meantime,
born, but is forged. That's how the Scarlet Witch becomes. So that's really interesting. And that, like you said, exceeds the powers of the Sorcerer Supreme. So
right, and
this is going to get very interesting going forward, because we just pretty much saw during this episode as it unfolds one of the most powerful characters so far in the MCU.
Yeah, Tony Crespo over on Facebook wrote into the show and said, at this point, who on Earth will be able to stop/restrain Wanda? Doctor Strange and who else? That's about it.
On the head.
Yeah, right on the head.
Nailed it.
Agatha starts waking up Westview citizens, including Dottie, which, again, another character who ends up being nobody. Dottie is just a civilian.
Absolutely nobody.
Just a civilian.
Nobody. There's no twinkle of anything. Her name's Sarah. Who the fuck is named Sarah?
Yeah, she looked like
a Sarah.
Sorry,
Danny, Sarah's out there.
She looked like a Sarah. So Dottie's just a normal person. And then all the freed citizens start to suddenly surround Wanda because, of course, they see their captor in her, so they're all going to...
Yeah, Agatha's taking the blindfold off and just let them loose. Cut the strings to the meat puppets.
Yes. I love Agatha's view on everything, man. I liked everything that they did with Agatha here. Catherine Hahn, again, nailed it.
Hashtag Catherine Hahn.
Yeah, she's the best. She's bae.
Let's make sure.
So we zoom over to Monica, who is being held captive by fake Pietro. And we discover that, his powers... so he can overpower her with his speed and everything, but it's almost like she didn't even try. So I'm guessing maybe like the magic was holding her back, possibly. I don't know. I just feel like she could have defended herself a little bit better from Pietro.
This is something that I thought was kind of weak.
Yeah,
like this whole situation with this is one of my disappointing parts of this series, because he's showing the super speed, he's doing all these things, he boom, just puts Monica down like nothing. So it's like, okay, what was that? Because she easily overtakes him a little bit later on, and his fireman carries his ass.
This is broken up in between a couple of scenes, but we're just going to tackle the whole thing right here. So Monica finds some almost like an actor's headshot, and it says Ralph Boner. Or Boehner. I think it's technically Boehner. I think it's technically Boehner, the way it's spelled. But she just says Boner. Still. She just spells it like she sees it, and he's just like Boner. So they again, character number 3, which could have been somebody very interesting to add into the MCU.
Mephisto, not Quicksilver,
and he's just a dick joke.
No MCU. No X-Men.
One of the most interesting causes for theories in the entire show, and he just ends up being a dick joke. And let me just tell you, I'm a huge fan of a good dick joke. But right here, like I mentioned, subverting fans' expectations, this is kind of a slap in the face of the people who have invested into the show, who are invested not just watching the show, but in between premieres, and people are reading message boards and getting super invested in what could be happening to this character.
Rabbit holes.
Man, just for it to this it be like a dumb joke. A dumb joke. I just thought that was a little bit off brand for Marvel. They usually can pay off things better, and this was a miss for sure.
Yeah, and we still didn't get any explanation. Does he have powers, or was it the necklace? There was so much left unhinged there, which I still believe is probably going to get tied up in something else. It's going to get, we're going to get the closure on that.
I think he's done.
In that case, too.
I think
we still don't know the witness. Who was Wu going to Westview to see? There's so many things that was just we don't know. Or does it even mean anything? Does it matter?
Apparently.
Was it just, this is just the way.
So
this is why
person
I'm
number
here.
4, the witness. That was brought up quite a lot. Nothing happened. Nothing happened to it. Person number 5, the aerospace engineer, was brought up a few times. Nothing happened. So a lot of this is a common trend where I feel like they were almost trying to too much. It's almost like a great analogy to Lost. A big complaint for Lost is that they were throwing so much mystery out there, and then by the end, they just didn't have the time or the ability or the bandwidth to answer everything that they wanted, that they seemed to want to have answers for. So, Lost is still awesome.
But yeah, that is very uncharacteristic of.
Yeah, it's definitely the Pietro thing is definitely the biggest gripe I see online right now, for sure. So back in the streets, Wanda starts to get affected by the citizens' cries for help, and even Agatha herself kind of going from antagonist to the classic Agatha Harkness from the comics mentor, and warns her that heroes don't torture people. So it causes Wanda to open up to her empathy and release the hex a little bit and allow the citizens out. Now, clearly, Agatha is doing this not because she's being nice. She knows that this is a way for her to absorb even more power.
And we're seeing this wall come down. Like it's like everything from the edges are just tearing apart. It's like, Wanda Maximoff, tear down this wall.
Yeah,
it was just seeing everything come undone. It was like ridiculous, the amount of power that was like being held there.
Yeah, it was interesting, and another reason Agatha was probably doing this, now that I think about it, like if she can tear down the hex, she can absorb Wanda's powers from this, but also it kind of removes a lot of her defense from the board. It removes Vision. It can remove the kids, people that can get in her way from getting more. So that's another really smart move by Agatha,
neutralizing the battlefield.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, opening the hex causes Vision and the kids to begin to disappear since they were created in the hex. They
and
no
that's
longer
the only
exist.
place where they can exist.
Yeah, so this was something that I thought was going to be kind of rebooted. Clearly, Vision was obviously made just for the hex. But for the kids, since the kids came in a completely different way, they came via childbirth, I thought that there actually was that was going to give them some sort of actual anchor to the real world, since they actually came from Wanda, and apparently that wasn't the case either. A little disappointed,
and since they're not the soul of Mephisto, so
definitely not that either. So man, that Mephisto thing, people they rode that fucking ship until it sank, man. Like, I still think Mephisto's I think Mephisto's still a missed opportunity. I think having some sort of big bad looming over the chessboard would have been kind of cool, especially like having it there to kind of like unveil in the very end as like a post-credit scene. I think that would have been awesome. Right. Like really set up Doctor Strange 2, which they do still in this at the end of this episode. But
what do we know?
What do we know? We know nothing. Trust me, we know nothing. As we can tell from our theories, we know nothing.
The kids and Wanda and everybody start rolling up and they get together. Yeah. They have the kids, they have Wanda, they have Vision. And
Wanda also closes up the hex as well to save her kids, because
she closes up the hex to keep them back. So the family reunion, and then of course Agatha's attacking, and Wanda throws up the shield around them, and then she starts taking the powers back. But as they turn around, they look like the Incredibles in that scene. Right? It was the dad and the mom and the kids, and they're all in that stance. It was the Incredibles.
There was an Incredibles title on the theater, on the marquee of the theater. They were showing the Incredibles
at one point. And I love the Incredibles, by the way. That is one of my favorite animated movies, both of them.
Yeah, I like the roller coaster.
Just put that out there.
At California Adventure, that's a good ride.
Oh,
yeah, it's fun. It's a good time. You should try it out.
And they don't have it in Florida.
So the Vision and Vision go back to battling it out at this point, and as you alluded to, they do some more cool, swanky not teleportation, but phase shifting moves. And Spectral Vision throws Hex Vision into the library, and then they kind of have a little face-off. And in an interesting turn, Vision starts to discuss his reality,
what his protocol is,
or like his own reality, and he mentions that he is not the real Vision. He, as in Hex Vision, is not the real Vision.
Additional,
and he's additional, and it makes White Vision as the android that he is, the intellectual that he is, he demands elaboration. We quickly...
This is a very interesting scene.
It was an interesting scene. So we quickly jump back. We'll get back to Vision and Vision later, but Hayward is now going from evil to dastardly and literally tries to gun down Wanda's 2 children, which, again, like...
Wiccan and Speed.
Okay, so now we're going to add child murderer to fucking Hayward's rap sheet? Like, it's so out of...
He is pure evil.
I understand he's an asshole. I get it. I am convinced. The show convinced me...
He's the big bad now.
...that he's an asshole. You did not convince me. You did not earn him gunning down, whether they're fake or not, gunning down 2 children. I'm sorry. Like, I just don't understand.
Yeah, I don't see what the point of that was either. I mean, I know he just watched them,
Monica for you to see Monica's powers. That's the reason. But like, he could have shot at Wanda. Like, Wanda was his target. So why not aim a gun at her and then have Monica like phase shift the bullets out and stuff like that, or like absorb the bullets? But yeah, Monica steps in. She flies in, absorbs the bullets, and saves the kids.
And then Wiccan shows some of his powers too. He stops the bullet, throws it to the ground, and they have a little exchange right there. Hey, I like your moves.
Oh yeah, Speed
it was a
steals
cool
like
scene
guns
right there,
and stuff
but
like that.
It was all just for her to, like you said, show this is my powers. I can do this. And then of course Hayward tries to get away, and then the old funnel cake truck comes, boom, smashes Hayward right into the wall as the Darcy crashes into him.
Very disappointment for me here too. A lot of disappointment for me here too. Because, like, I really wanted Monica to take down Hayward. I felt like that was the only answer. Like, Monica was going to be the one to take Hayward down. And I like Darcy. Like all props to Darcy for being such a fun character this season. But, like, I just feel like her stopping Hayward was not earned whatsoever. Like, whatsoever.
Yeah, enjoy prison. Yeah, it was shoehorned in. A lot of little things here. Maybe if they would have made the episodes longer the last couple of episodes, we could have fit these things in a better way. But again, it was forced.
That was Darcy. We're done with Darcy. We don't see her again.
Yep, Darcy's done.
That's it. She's done.
Hi, I'm Darcy. You remember me? Gone.
Like,
she does get an honorable mention later on.
She does, but like I just feel like that there's probably a lot left
missed
on the
opportunity.
Editing. There's a lot left on the editing room floor with a lot of these side characters, I think. Like, we could have at least had like one little, because they were so Wu, Monica, and Darcy were so great, like, for the first half of the season together. At least give us like one little scene at the end where they're all like shaking hands, like, hey, great job, guys, we did it. Like 10 seconds. 10 seconds. Couldn't even get that. Yeah, couldn't even get that. So hopefully they do something with them in the future, because they are a fantastic team. There are rumblings out there in the interwebs about Wu getting a show. WandaVision
X-File type.
WandaVision was great on the Wu brand for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So Vision and Vision, we're back to them. And using a mix...
Yes, in the ship of Theseus.
Yes, using a mix of ancient philosophy and history. Hex Vision awakens the memory of White Vision.
And I want to explain the ship of Theseus here.
And we will. It's an interesting theory. Like, go ahead.
Okay, and real quick. In the metaphysics of identity, the ship of Theseus is a thought experiment that raises the question of whether an object that has had all the components replaced remains fundamentally the same object. So that's what they were arguing about. His main objective was to destroy the Vision. But he is not the Vision. He is a conditional version. He is not what was made of him.
Right.
The White Vision was the actual Vision, but did not retain memories of what he was supposed to do. Mm-hmm. So yes, then he awakens him, and you see that blue gem glow that yellow. And this was that other thing that I was alluding to that I called out. He was made from the Mind Stone that was within Wanda, and it is said and referenced later on. So, had a little brag in there,
a little back pat. But hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna bring this back. That's it. We're done with White Vision. He's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. Like, what? What? So if he retains his memories, and they showed us he remembered.
I am Vision.
He
and then flies away.
remembered everything. He remembered his love with Wanda. He remembered Thanos killing him. He remembered Wanda sacrificing Vision to get rid of the Mind Stone. Like, he remembered.
We see all these flashes.
Everything. And you're not going to stick around and save the person you love. Like, he gone. He gone.
But this is what this Vision does in the comics. His affections and everything are gone. So he might have gotten the memories back, but still analytically, he could still just be, different now, obviously. Or maybe there was something very imperative that he had to do at that moment, and he knew that she would take care of it. Who knows?
Maybe.
We'll find out, obviously, because we're going to see Paul Bettany as Vision.
Which is that's the best takeaway from this. Yeah, it leaves a plot hole there, but the big takeaway is
we know how that's going to get filled.
We get Bettany back in the MCU. That's the big part, and he's been phenomenal. This entire
Vision.
season. Woke Vision. I hate that term so much.
Hey, it's what the Utes say.
Yeah. So we get our Vision back, and then so now Wanda tries to pull on her old trickery from Age of Ultron, like you mentioned, and tries to attack Agatha's subconscious. But Agatha can quickly turn it around on Wanda and allows the corpses of her sister to turn everything around and attack Wanda. After failed bargaining to relieve Wanda of her chaos magic, the two witches eventually fight in the sky. And then we kind of probably should have saw this coming, especially since the previously on WandaVision, they specifically called out the runes so we wouldn't forget it. Wanda is throwing some wild shots all over the place, and unbeknownst to us, she's
just throwing them out there, haymakers.
Unbeknownst to us, she's actually setting up runes all around the hex, which renders Agatha's powers useless, and then absorbs Agatha's power.
Wanda just looked really creepy at this point when they were fighting. When she was like all just weak and gaunt and feeble,
she's just like
she looked like
magic.
One of her sisters. Like Elizabeth Olsen looked like Mary Kate or Ashley. It was kind of crazy.
Yeah, she looked like.
Oh, he got jokes.
Yeah. That was pretty good. But then once Agatha's powers are rendered useless, we have the big reveal. The big origin story has come full circle, and she absorbs all of Agatha's powers and becomes the Vision that she saw when she got the Mind Stone powers. But yes, we now have full regalia, full suit of armor with the headdress.
She's got the mantle.
Scarlet
Witch. It was great.
It
looked awesome. Like, I love the outfit. It was kick ass.
One of my favorite Avenger outfits of all time.
100%.
Yeah, so
I mean, Cap's newer ones, or latter ones were better than some of the other costumes that we did see. But I mean, of course, Iron Man had like ridiculous amounts of everything. But yeah, this WandaVision costume, like, so far was like one of the coolest things to see come to life. And this is also a big milestone because this is the first time now that the Fox property of Scarlet Witch has been mentioned in the MCU, and the first bit of anything of Fox property has now been mentioned in the MCU. So it's a big milestone. I was happy with that.
Actually, I never thought of it that way, since Wanda's been in the MCU the entire time. So technically, this is our first Fox X-Men character officially.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
This is the Scarlet Witch. This is our first little content from Fox, baby.
All right.
It's just to begin, a little taste.
So they all float down. Wanda then has Agatha bargaining with her again, saying like, hey, you need a mentor, you need someone to help you. And then Wanda
You're gonna need me.
And which is probably true, and I think Wanda does the best thing, is keep Kathryn Hahn in the MCU by just changing her back to Agnes, the nosy neighbor, much to Agnes's chagrin.
Hokey dokey artichokey.
So Agnes is going back and playing nosy neighbor, and then that is it for Kathryn Hahn. Standing ovation. Standing ovation for her. Great job, Kathryn. So the family eventually goes back home. Wanda notices that the hex is closing in on itself at this point, and she is choosing not to stop it, which is a huge point of was a huge point of conflict for her for the entire season, and now she's just letting it happen. We'll get more to that. So they get home, put the kids to sleep, have a really, really, really nice moment with the kids, and man, I was getting misty in the eyes when she said to the kids, "Thank you."
Are you tearing up?
Thank you for choosing me to be your mother. That was just... I am child-free. I've chosen not to have children. That right there... Once in a while, I get little tinges of regret in that decision, and that was one of the moments where I was like, oh, that hurts. That hurts right there. Beautiful moment with the kids. And then downstairs, as the hex shrinks more and more, Vision and Wanda say goodbye to one another one last time.
Beautiful.
Very much almost shot for shot for the Infinity War scene that this show likes to kind of like remind us of, where they're standing at the window and she's holding his face. But the hex ends, Vision disappears. Lovely, lovely parting comments. Basically them saying that this is not goodbye. It's I'll see you again.
I have this part, I don't know. It began mostly with Vision saying, "What am I?" And then, of course, she gives like a full breakdown of like the truth. You are a piece of the Mind Stone that is,
and she's finally telling him the truth. Like she's no longer in the business of trying to hide stuff from him, which is a huge moment.
You are
been doing that the entire time.
Of wires and blood and goop that I put together and animated you in this world. But this is the main part. You are my sadness, my hope, but most of all, you are my love. And then you see Vision cry. You see the tear come out. And he even says to her right before they finally say goodbye, I have been a voice with no body, a body and not a human, and now a memory made real. I can't wait to see what I am next. It was awesome. That was awesome.
That's powerful stuff, man.
Vision has some things out there, man. So when you started talking about the scene, I was like, I just wanted to get that in because that was fantastic. This was like the meat and potatoes of this episode for me, really. All the fighting and everything was cool. But when this happened, I was like, man, I'm sappy. This is really nice.
And just like that, Hex Vision's gone. What the fuck, Marvel?
Gone.
No, what a great ending
We'll
to a
say hello
character.
again.
Probably one of the best departures of a character, period. It really pays off everything Vision and Wanda have gone through.
Most likely that is the last time we're going to see that version of Vision.
Maybe. In the comics, they did merge the purple Vision with the white Vision again and got purple Vision back eventually. So we still may see that. It all depends probably on what makeup's harder to put on Paul Bettany. And if it's the white makeup, they're going to go back to the other one. I promise you. So Wanda ends up in the same spot where she began in the open plot for the house that Vision bought for her. She leaves Westview while slowly, very, very creepily being stared down by the townsfolk.
By everybody.
It immediately shows.
And she had a car in the driveway. Why didn't she just drive? Why is she walking?
I don't know. And
that's a little continuity error too, because she threw that car at Agnes.
She did throw the car
back in the driveway. Yeah, she did. Just saying.
That car should be in the.
You done fucked up, Marvel.
But yeah, as the townfolk are sneering at her, it's clearly shown that Wanda to them will forever be a monster, no matter what she does. Like she is a monster in their eyes, which kind of gives us a taste of things to come. Probably, we know that there's some dark stuff in the future based on what like producers have told us about Wanda coming forward in Doctor Strange.
Yeah, she even says, I don't understand this power, but I will. Yeah. So she's putting herself on a mission as she's taking that cool exit shot out of a Westview and then back in her full regalia again and flying away.
Yeah, and this flies away.
I wish she would have cackled when she left, though. That would have been great.
I think we will get a cackle sometime soon in 2022.
We did get those Catherine Hahn cackles as Agatha, so that was pretty cool when they were flying through the air. Oh, no, I loved it. All those little things they put in there.
Yeah. So Wanda says bye to Monica. Monica basically says, hey, there's no hard feelings there. They wish each other the best, and Wanda flies away. As the FBI arrives on scene, and that is cut to black. And then we get to our mid-credit scene. So in a mid-credit scene, we're back in the streets. Wu is commanding the FBI agents all over the place. Hayward's being arrested,
like a boss.
Hayward's being arrested, and then Monica is summoned by some sort of a army lady into a movie theater. And then when she goes there, it is revealed that this army person is a Skrull. And she says that he heard you were grounded, and he wants to call you up to the majors.
An acquaintance of an old friend of yours, Captain Marvel, or your mom. Sorry.
So we can assume that this is probably Nick Fury.
Of course. Yeah. Where are you going? Up. They're going on the roof.
Going to space, baby. Going to take that space out. SpaceX. Yeah, space.
I thought he was just on the roof.
Oh, he's not. He could be
on the roof of the theater.
Ooh.
That's what I was thinking.
No, he's going to space because we know he's in space because of the ending.
Because that's where we last saw Nick Fury.
Yeah, and then fast forward the credits, and we get the post-credit scene. So yeah, we slowly zoom into a mountain range, and on the edge of the river,
beautiful, lovely mountain range. There is a gorgeous lake and river,
and there is a cottage there, and we see Wanda pouring herself a cup of coffee or a cup of tea from the stove, and as we pan even closer into the door and turn a corner into another room, we see that she is astral projecting as she is just relaxing in her solitude, astral projecting over reading the Darkhold, essentially, and learning more.
Yeah, she's chilling in her sweatpants, drinking tea, while a part of her like soul and body and mind is in there reading the Darkhold, studying and getting more knowledge.
Yeah.
This brings up something that Agatha said earlier when they were doing the Salem scene, and Agatha flipped the table on her. She said, "You are a harbinger of chaos. Power isn't your problem; it's knowledge. You're that harbinger of chaos." I think this, in my opinion, is what's going to open up a lot of things coming forth in like this phase of the MCU, because her learning more about her abilities, and then of course we hear the screams of what we can assume are her boys.
Yep, saying, "Mom, help me."
That's how it ends for us. So her trying to bring that back, I think, is what's going to bring on a lot of the things going to happen going forward. But obviously, I don't know anything, so we'll find out. But it's going to be very interesting, and there's so much that obviously everybody's going to speculate and theorize about.
Yeah, people are going to speculate. People are also going to have thoughts. And some of the thoughts are also people that we have on our Facebook group, like Sean Johnson. He says, overall, this was a 7 out of 10 for the season. I enjoyed it a lot, but I think Marvel has done better, and I felt like a lot of it was bait and switch for what fans would expect. Very, very true. That being said, I really do like the setup for a future Marvel series, and I think they're opening up a lot of potential for future story arcs in a serial capacity without needing to use feature-length films for convoluted exposition. My main gripes with this are similar to other franchises: set up a big bad only to have it hardly relevant, like WandaVision, and Agnes was simply a tool for a Scarlet Witch Genesis retcon. I agree with the first part, for sure. I agree with the first part, for sure. With his gripes, setting up a big bad to have it hardly relevant, I would say that WandaVision retaining his memories is strongly relevant. And then Agnes
going forward.
Yeah, and then Agnes simply being a tool for Scarlet Witch Genesis retcon. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as saying that Agatha was just a tool for Wanda's Genesis. Yeah. Agnes was kind of behind the entire series, or the entire season itself.
Agatha all along. I mean, that is one of the whole points. But
I would say that it led to her origin, like the Scarlet Witch's Genesis. It led
this
to that,
series was literally 7-hour origin story for bringing Scarlet Witch from Fox to MCU. Ultimately, that's how I look at this, actually.
Yeah, so I don't think
it was much needed, though, because this is a very powerful character that, like I said, a lot of people who know like mainstream comics, really, Scarlet Witch isn't on that radar for a lot of people, because it's not a Batman, a Spider-Man, Iron Man or anything like that. It's Scarlet Witch. So people who do read comics and have some knowledge of it, like, they know how powerful this character is. And that's what I said, everybody is now seeing this, how it takes form and how powerful she is and is going to be. and how much little chaos she's going to bring to the MCU.
Yeah, very true. We have a couple more comments. One, Michael French, he says, not enough consequence for Wanda. Needed to be arrested or committed. Instead, she just makes a new friend and runs away. She is the perfect example of why these people need registration and oversight.
There's a Sokovian Accords supporter.
I would argue that her solitude, she lost her
pain
soulmate and her children, and now she's suffering in solitude, and her brother, and she's suffering in solitude. So I mean, there's a little bit of justice in that, but I think that's necessarily going to feed into her ability to make herself more powerful and possibly even misguided. So I think that there is going to be consequence down the road, but it's going to it's going to be for another film for sure.
Harbinger of chaos.
And Greg Schnabel says, I did think we might get some reference at the end with her training with Strange, but not disappointed that she's off on her own, ready to see where they go, depending on how Strange 2 goes. But I also would like a second season of WandaVision. I don't know how they could do a second season of WandaVision. I mean, they could.
I don't think there's going to be.
Yeah, I don't think there is either. I think this is a one and done.
I think most of these are going to be like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But it is in serial format, so it is going to be like that with the other things going forward. As we get all these different adventures and all these different characters being brought into it, like the Miss Marvel, the She-Hulk and stuff. It's a great way to introduce people to characters that you know nothing about,
especially
and you get
allowing them to get their origin stories in these shows too. So once it's time to get to the theatrical releases, we're just off to the races. So I think this is smart, and we're going to see.
Like it was Spider-Man. It's like the Spider-Man backstory. MCU did not give you another Uncle Ben dying. They just said, "Hey, yeah, shit happened. Got bit by a spider." It was just pure dialogue, 30-second throwaway. Boom, there's the origin story. Let's go.
Yeah, indeed. But overall, like I said, we mentioned a lot of gripes, but I don't want that to take away from the idea that we didn't like this show.
What do you rank this season?
This season?
Out of 10. What do you give it, Travis?
Yeah. Man, I'm telling you, man, like on an emotional level, I really connected with this season. I will easily give it a 9 out of 10. I thought that Wanda Maximoff was a character that I wanted more of. As we left Endgame, I was just like, I really, really want more of her. I think she's fascinating. She's clearly the most powerful Avenger, and I want to see what they can do with her character. And Marvel does a really good job with that. Like, with her being like, they take Captain Marvel and they take Wanda Maximoff, these two too powerful for their own right beings, and they make them like, it makes you wonder why DC can't make a proper Superman movie, like someone who's like just too powerful for his own good, and they just can't quite nail Superman films. Whereas Marvel now has two Omega level powerful characters, and they can really form some like really intuitive stories around them. So I like where they're going with this. I loved WandaVision. I think it opens up a lot. I'm disappointed at the subverting of expectations. That's what takes it a lot of the points away from me. Too many dangling carrots, and then when we get to the unveil, it actually ends up being a fucking carrot and nothing else. So like,
I want no damn carrot. There's no ranch.
Fucking carrot. I want Mephisto. So yeah, it was.
I want X-Men version of Quicksilver.
I was promised Mephisto, Reed Richards, Magneto, Ian McKellen, Fastback. I was promised all of them, and they did not deliver. So 1 out of 10 for WandaVision. No, WandaVision was great, man. What about you? What does this rank?
8 out of 10. I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. I enjoyed it. I like the style and the new way they delivered content to us and how they went about that. I thought it was great. Really enjoyed it. Not too many gripes, really. It was a fun story. It was great to go through. Loved the characters. Like I said, everything else was just minor little details. But like I said, this is a whole new world. I don't care about what happened in comics, because the MCU is completely different. There's so many different stories. Yeah, they pull idea and contents and themes and things like that, but it's all new. And then if we raise our expectations and assuming things, then hey, it makes an ass of you and me.
And I think we will leave it at that, Mr. Peel. So thank you
yes,
for
Baum.
joining me on this, man. I couldn't think of a better person to go on this WandaVision journey.
Well, of course. I mean, we've talked about this for years of doing something about this. I mean, we partially wrote a movie like 12 years ago.
High as shit
So-
in a Waffle House diner every night, just like writing the scenes out. Yeah, we got a lot of.
So we got content, we got things up our sleeves. We're gonna
some
bring
ideas.
this out. We're gonna have more shows coming out. We're gonna have different things that we want to you let us know what you're interested in, what we could talk about for you. So it's gonna be really exciting. Please like, subscribe, share this with your friends, share it with your family, share it with your enemies, share it with your pets.
Yeah, they're people too. So thank you guys. Y'all take care and have a good one. Travis and Peel Show is out.
Out.